Hey guys, Roman Ending Reaper here. So yep, it's that time of the week. I'm outside the cinema, and today's one I think is prime sort of switch your brain off Saturday afternoon entertainment. Flight Risk. Yep, the new Mel Gibson film with Marky Mark bald. Yeah, so this should hopefully be a bit of like dumb fun. You know, sort of mindless switch your brain off January action movie. The Beekeeper ended up being quite good, so who knows? The only way to find out is to get in, get seated for Flight Risk. So yeah, I've got my popcorn here and a red frozen Fanta, the colour of the blood that would have been all over the first class cabin, ready to watch bald Marky Mark fly a plane. So yeah, Flight Risk. I am back from seeing it. This of course is directed by Mel Gibson. Of course, the last film he directed was Hacksaw Ridge, which is a brilliant movie with a great performance from Andrew Garfield. And so it does feel a bit surprising with all that awards pedigree behind his directing efforts. And he turn his hand to something like this, which, you know, just feels like a paycheck vehicle that any old jobber could do. And so that, coupled with the release date, yep, roll the clip.
Fuck you, it's January!
Meant that my expectations going into this weren't exactly sky high. I was just expecting nothing more than, you know, typical January dump month shit. But is this nothing more than just a January dump month paycheck vehicle for Mel Gibson? Let's find out. So in the film, we see Winston, an accountant for a high-powered mobster, cut a deal with the government to testify against his boss in return for full immunity and protection. And so, in order to testify, he boards a flight from Alaska, where he's been hiding out, all the way to New York, with a Deputy Marshal, Madeline Harris, accompanying him the whole way. However, the flight ends up being a little more turbulent than initially expected, as the pair soon find themselves in grave danger when they realise that the pilot, Darrell Booth, isn't quite who he seems. Obviously, going into this, my expectations were low. I was expecting this to be nothing more than just disposable January dump month action movie schlock, and to my surprise, it was actually better than I thought it was going to be. It's actually not bad. Obviously, I can understand maybe why it was released in January, but even as January action schlock goes, it's not bad. It's not on the level of The Beekeeper, mind you. Then again, The Beekeeper had a bee pun delivered by way of Shakespeare. Come on, how are you meant to top that? But as it stands, though, it's not bad, and actually proved to be a fairly entertaining sort of switch your brain off popcorn flick. Obviously, yes, they got to address that this runs at a fairly lean 90 minutes, and that is perfect for this. You know, it gets the initial setup out of the way with great efficiency, and, you know, we're onto the plane faster than you can recite Marky Mark's 9/11 quote. And from there, what follows is a contained film set pretty much entirely within the confines of the plane, and it uses that for a tightly told, confined, suspenseful drama. And yes, it gets great moments of suspense out of its contained setting, and the occasional action scene as well. Definitely could have maybe used a bit more of it, but as it stands, though, it's utilized well enough that that I can't really be too upset. And again, the moments of suspense absolutely do more than make up for it. And even with the 90-minute runtime, though, it can at times feel like it's maybe straining to find things to do with some utterly ludicrous plot mechanics, and yet, even with the preposterousness of it all, I was entertained enough that I was just willing to switch my brain off and just go along with it and have a good time, you know? It is the sort of thing that does exactly what it says on the tin, and it's also got some good, well placed moments of comedy as well. Plenty intentional, some unintentional through its absolutely ridiculous dialogue, but there are plenty of chuckles to be had here, and also, to its credit, it is very well directed. Obviously, Mel Gibson is an assured hand, and yeah, that really shines through here to ensure that it is absolutely very, very competently made film. There's some, great looking shots of the Alaskan mountains, and even within the plane, it makes great use of the sort of tight spatial geography to ensure that the suspense and thrills are maximized. And there's also some good effect shots in here. And considering that this was made on a fairly small budget of $10 million, they really got the most out of it. But even then, you can sort of feel the limitations of the budget creep through in some scenes. There's a very shitty looking CGI moose very early on, and there's some like sort of shots, especially from the cockpit, that where the digital backgrounds really do stick out. But even still, they got quite a lot out of very little, and I absolutely have to commend them for that. And Mel Gibson's assured directing extends to the acting as well, and considering some of the absolutely ridiculous dialogue delivered here, the actors actually do a very good job. Obviously, we have Marky Mark Wahlberg as the film's central villain, and he does a great job with it. Seriously, we need more Marky Mark villain characters because, yeah, he really, really relishes it. He's this absolute psychotic wild card of a man. He's cold, he's unfeeling, he does not care whether he lives or dies. So long as he kills someone doing it and will absolutely relish the kill, he is great, great fun. I almost wish they'd utilized him more because there are stretches of the film where he's just like completely out of action, just unconscious. Like, come on, man. I just want to see Marky Mark having fun Breaking Bad here. Like, come on, man. We also have Michelle Dockery as Madeline Harris, the U.S. Marshal on the scene. She's very much efficient and quick to act on the job, but also has to live with the guilt of a tragic incident on her line of work. And yeah, she plays it very, very well. We also have Eddie Brock himself, Topher Grace, as Winston, and there are plenty of very, very funny moments from him, from just how shit scared he is by the whole thing. Yeah, all three of them do a good job. Obviously, they're not awards caliber performances by any means, but considering the film they're in, they fully understand the assignment. And obviously, by the time the last act rolls around, yeah, this is where it really enters at its most entertaining. Like, we get plenty of suspenseful scenes in which they try to land the plane while also trying to avoid being brutally killed by bald Marky Mark. Again, very transformative role. And there's also some twists and turns in here, which you'll quite likely see coming, let's be real. And even some good, satisfying emotional moments and character payoffs that ensured that, yeah, the film absolutely ended on a high and ensured that overall I left in good spirits, having had a reasonable, non objectionable time. Overall, Flight Risk is the type of film that does exactly what it says on the tin. If you're looking for a sort of, switch your brain off popcorn action flick to entertain yourself over 90 minutes, There are worse options out there, honestly. Out of 10, Flight Risk gets a 6. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Flight Risk. Let me know down in the comments. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Do you think we'll be getting more of Mel Gibson very, very soon? Obviously, with the recent news involving him being a special ambassador to Hollywood. And would you like to see more Marky Mark villain characters? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.